What's going on, YouTube? We're out here on Lake Russell and the Georgia-South Carolina border today, and I'm going to show you guys a little bit about fishing a bait that is getting a lot of buzz right now. It's the Ned rig, but it's not the traditional way that you would fish a Ned rig. We're going to fish a Ned rig vertical. A lot of people like to call it the Ned Mickey. I'm pretty much throwing away my drop shots for vertical fishing. I'm almost totally sold on the fact that the Ned Mickey is the way to go. It's a lot easier to rig. I can get my bait to the bottom a lot quicker, and fish just seem to can't resist it. So we're gonna go out here in Lake Russell, see if we can catch some nice spotted bass fishing the Ned Mickey right under the boat. You guys watch my tournament vlog, you hear me mention that I don't really pre-spawn fish for spotted bass. I've done a lot of that in the fall in recent years when things shallow kind of get a little harder, but I've never actually specifically focused on spotted bass or fishing deep during the spring. It's pretty cold today, so it's easy for me to my mind to go to that 25, 35, 45 foot range. But when it's springtime, 60, 70 degrees, I don't really think about even fishing deeper than 10 foot. And so I'm trying to get a little practice on it, and Lake Russell is the best place in the world for anybody that wants to learn how to fish deep. All right, so I'm going to show you guys a little bit about how I set my graph up when I'm actually looking for these areas out here. When I'm idling around, I like to run 4 panels, and I'm going to run my chart up here in the top left hand. I'm going to run the side scan, that way I can look left to right, and down scan right here on that bottom, and I still keep a 2D sonar. I like to compare what I'm looking at. And actually we're going over a couple fish right there. I don't know if you can see them on the bottom right there. It's hard to get that to focus, but that's actually a couple fish right there. This area is what I call a high percentage area. So when I go over here to my map, let's just go to a full map here. And what I'll do, you can see there's a big high spot right here. And you see the contour lines are really tight right here as that creek channel comes out. That's where that's what I call a high percentage area. Anywhere those contour lines tighten up around a shoal or shallow spot, that's where a fish is really likely to be. You can see I've got a few more waypoints. I've already idled around this point. Out here on the tip, anytime you're around the tip of an island or tip of a high spot or a hump, low point, that's always going to be your high percentage areas. You can see the creek channel swings in right here, high percentage. Out here on the tip, all of that's high percentage. I'm just going to get out there and idle around on that stuff. You can see over here, the contour lines are really steep and tight. So anytime you see contour lines that are tight like that, there's going to be rock there. The timber is going to be really close to this high spot, which makes that high percentage. So those are places that I'm going to look for and spend most of my time in. Got it right off the bat. Just dropping a little Ned Mickey down on him. I graphed over, I saw some bait, a little bit of brush, and I just made a waypoint, and I said I'd come back to it, circle back. Pretty decent little spotted bass. Not a big one. Right over the top of him with that little Ned Mickey, and he came right up and got it. Yes. Not a big one at all. See, that's what we're just using, just a little 1/6 ounce. Used a red head Ned Mickey that time. And that little spotted bass came up and got it. That's something I haven't done all day, is mark a lot of fish, and this is a spot I'm definitely getting a lot of solid returns on. I mean, that's every drop. That's literally every drop that I've seen or caught one. These aren't big ones right here, but it's definitely a lot more fish on this little spot. He's not a big one. I don't know why he's acting up like that. They are fun to catch though. You see that one's got it swallowed. Let's hurry up and get it back down there. I like to talk a lot of times and tell you what I'm doing, but I want to see how many I can catch. So basically, I'm not marking anything on the graph right now. What I'll do a lot of times, if I'm in a high percentage area, I'll leave my bait down there on the bottom and just shake it. You can see I'm just keeping my rod tip low, just shaking that bait right there on the bottom. You know, sometimes, especially when you're fishing a little deeper, 30 plus, you may not mark a fish. We're in a cold front right now. There's a fish right there. We're in a cold front right now, and those fish will lay right on the bottom. And a lot of times your graph, your 2D sonar may or may not pick them up. You know, even a 3-pound fish, if he's laying on the bottom, you know, that's just not a lot of mass to mark. If he doesn't have a lot of movement and it's real cold and they're moving real slow, you're not going to mark a lot on the graph. So I'll just lay that bait on the bottom and just shake it right in place. Might be a little bit better fish right there. I love dropping on them. That's my favorite way to catch them. That's a better one. That's a better one spotted bass there. The graph is blowing up now. Oh, there we go. That's a little better one. But I'll just shake that in place. I wasn't marking anything on the graph when that fish bit. I was just shaking it right there on the bottom, and it just tightens up. The bites are not going to be real aggressive when you're fishing vertical like this. It'll just tighten up, and you just reel down on them and pull up. You don't have to set the hook real hard. I got a lot on the graph right now. Let's see if we can get down there and catch another one. I like to keep my drag fairly tight on my rod too. You know, fishing vertical, you don't have to set the hook. You can really just reel down on him and just pull up. And if I got my drag tight, I've got a real soft action, medium action Favorite Jackhammer rod, so I don't have to worry about breaking my line. I'm not marking anything at all right now. I'll just wait. I'll just shake it in place, and sometimes those fish will come into the graph, and then like I'm starting to mark a few fish now. What I'm going to do is just kind of reel it up to them. I'll reel my bait up to them, and then I'll let my bait down. I'll just kind of reel my bait up to the fish, kind of say hello, and then run it back to the bottom. A lot of times the fish will follow it back down. There's one. Just hopped it off the bottom there, and he picked it up. I think that's a smaller one. Yeah, it is. Oh, he jumped off. A little smaller one that time. I'm not even marking any fish on the graph right now. That's what I'm saying. When it's cold like this, it's real important to get in those high percentage areas and really kind of hunker down and fish. When it's warm and the fish are out and moving, there's another one, got it on the way down. I love it. This is so much fun. I was dropping it back down after that last one I had on. Oh, that's a big one, guys. That is a big one. That is a freaking giant right there. That's the one we come for right there. The funny thing is, this one's not even fighting that hard. That's a 3-pounder. That's a good one for this lake. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yes sir. That's a pretty one. That's a pretty one. I was just running it back down to the bottom after that last one just jumped off, and then that one came up and got it. That's what I like to come out here and fish for right there. There he is. There he is. That might be a good one there, guys. That might be a good one. I'm not even sure that's a bass. If that's a bass, that's a freaking giant. It is a bass. It's a pretty nice spot. It's not a big spot, but it's a pretty nice one. Not a big one. Oh, there we go. Had to put him in the headlock. That's still a nice 2-pound fish, though. There again, he's got that little small hook. A lot of guys worry about the size of that hook on the Ned Mickey, but I'm telling you, as long as you use the right action rod, use the right size line, don't force them, don't set the hook too hard, that hook will hold those fish. Put that little guy back right there. There he is. That's probably a good one. I think that's a good one. Feels heavy. Feels sort of like a largemouth. That one feels like a largemouth. Whoa. I love to hear that drag scene. That's my favorite part of fishing this way. Look where that bait is in that fish's mouth. Oh, he's got it choked. That's still a lot of fun. That's not a big spotted bass by any stretch of imagination, but the repetition and getting out here to learn how to use your grass, learning a technique and a bait that you don't normally use, that's a lot of fun to me. I broke my bait off here in the trees, and I'll show you guys exactly what I'm using here. Here's the bait, Streakz 375. That's what I'm using. Exactly what the name says. 3 3/4 inches long. This color is called Ralph Shad. It's kind of got like a grayish pearlescent belly on it with a blue top. It's got some green and blue flake in it. And here's the trick. I'm using a red 1/5 ounce. I like the way I talk to you with this plastic in my mouth. Kids, don't do that at home. I'm using a red 1/6 ounce finesse shroomz head, and all I do is just rig it on the jig head. It's simple. There's nothing fancy about this at all. I prefer the regular finesse shroomz over the Ned locks. Sometimes I do use the Ned locks. This has got a little lighter wire hook. I feel like it pricks the fish a little bit better, and that's it. That's my Ned Mickey right there. That's all there is to this bait. I'm tying that bait up on I'm using a Favorite 7-foot medium action jackhammer, MGX 30 Abu Garcia spinning reel, real smooth drag on it, which is really important because I'm going to be using pretty light line. I'm using 10-pound test Smackdown Braid, and I'm tying a fluorocarbon tippet. This is Seaguar Grand Max 9.8 pound test. Grand Max. Tying a little Palomar knot. Probably shouldn't have bit that off for you like that in the camera. I'm sure somebody will mention that in the comments, because that's what YouTube likes to do. And that's it. There he is. That's good there, folks. Wait, that's a big one that time. Yeah, that's gonna be a better one. That's gonna be a better one. Do you feel that head thumping around down there? You know you got one. That's a good one. That is a good one. Oh. You feel that head when you set the hook and it's just like way down there. You know you got a better one. There he is. There he is. Not a giant, but we're not catching big fish today. It's just, God, look, he's got a mouthful of crawdad. He's got crawdads all in his mouth. That's a pretty decent one, though. There he is. Biggin'. 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 That's biggin'. Biggin'. Big one. Maybe we're going to have to chase this fish a little bit. It's so much fun watching these fish come up and get that bait like that. Listen to that drag scene, man. That's a certified one right there. Oh God, what a spotted bass. That may be That is a 4-pound spotted bass right there. Oh my gosh. Oh. Yes, sir. Yes. That's what it's all about right there. You see, he got the Ned Mickey right in his mouth. That's awesome. Now that is a freaking certified meat dog right there. Certified Rouse Shad, 3 Streakz 375. Dropped it on him and he choked it. I knew that was a big one when he got it. That is freaking awesome right there. Those are the ones that I live for right there. That's a big spotted bass from my area right there. That fish is pushing 3 3/4, maybe close to 4 pounds. That's a beautiful one. So you got to go through a lot of numbers to get to that size fish. You can see we've caught probably 15 or so before I got to that, to, you know, a nice size 3.5 4 pound fish. Awesome, man. So fishing the Ned Mickey, it's a lot of fun if you can take the time, have a little patience to use your electronics, use your graphs, spend some time learning what those fish look like, spend some time in those high percentage areas. I can promise you, you're gonna catch a lot of fish on this Ned Mickey rig. It's a lot of fun. It's very simple, just a jig head and a plastic. It's not expensive. Get you a nice piece of spinning gear, a good reel, really smooth braided line, Seaguar braided line. I'm telling you, you guys, this is a lot of fun. You need to experiment with it, especially if you have spotted bass in your fishery, if you have smallmouth, deep, anywhere you have clear water. I promise you the Ned rig will catch fish, and especially will catch fish in deep water. So try it out. It's a lot of fun. I'm going to get back here on the trolling motor and see how many more I can catch before dark. I mean, that's every drop. At 3 Streakz 375. Big. Come and do business with you. Yes, sir. Choked. That is gone. He got it choked though. But look at that. Yes! Thing on the graph when that fish bit, I was just shaking.